Hello and welcome to another episode of Mole in the Morning and your gaming news. My name is ChaosMole and today we have the gaming news for November 9th, 2022. And we have quite a bit of those, so I would say without further ado, let's just jump right into them, shall we? So we get an update, again, on the Microsoft and Blizzard Activision acquisition. As you know, Microsoft wants to buy Activision Blizzard, and there has been some, how to put it, some investigation going on from regulators around the world. Some regulators have already said, "Now we are good. We don't really have a problem with it." But especially EU regulators have been apparently seen some issues with this. Now, the EU, the European Commission, has announced that they are now starting a 90-day deeper investigation on this whole thing, and then they will make a final decision on the acquisition. Until then, the deal will remain on hold, of course. This is not the same as the UK investigation, which is also going on. So there are two big investigations happening right now. But there is a bit of like weirdness. So one of the points which make apparently the European Commission worried about all this deal is that this deal could make it harder for operating systems on the PC to compete with Windows. And it's like, what? What? What does Activision Blizzard has to do with who can compete with Windows on a PC? They don't explain it, by the way. If you were waiting for an answer on this, they do not give an answer. They just don't. They just say they see this as an issue that when Activision Blizzard is being bought by Microsoft, that this could make it harder for rival providers of PC operate systems to compete with Windows. I have no clue how they make that assessment. And even then, like, dear European Union, look, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the reality is Windows as the sole operating system on 95% of all the systems out there will remain a fact. No matter how hard you are advocating Linux, no matter how hard you might advocating for something else, it will always be Windows. And that will not change. That train has left the station many decades ago. Like, Windows is now the operating system, and it will remain like that for decades. And nothing will change. Like, again, what other choice do you really have? And I know that everyone is always like a little bit like, oh, Windows. I was like, yeah, sure, but I have Windows 10, and I don't have any issues. It's exactly doing that what it is supposed to do. Like, don't really know where the problem always is. But hey, I know it's like, it's easy to bash Windows. It's like a sport for a lot of people, and I get that. But again, this whole thing coming from the European Commission doesn't make really a lot of sense. And it seems like somebody is grasping here at straws, and like the gaming industry itself at large has already said, hey, we don't really have a problem with this. Let Microsoft buy Activision Blizzard. That's fine. Well, besides of one company, and that's Sony. They are totally not fine with it. And yeah, I sometimes have a feeling when I see what the European Commission is saying, and also like the UK watchdogs, I sometimes have a feeling they're just spilling what Sony said, and it makes no sense. Like, this is kind of interesting, I think. And this is just my own perspective. This is my own opinion. I have nothing to back this up. But I have a feeling that the people who are looking into this right now have absolutely no clue about gaming. Like, this is a novum for them.
So, hey George, yeah, what's up? Yeah, dude, we have like a nearly $70 billion deal from Microsoft.
Oh shit, what are they buying? Like server infrastructure? Or oh my god, do they buy like a chip manufacturer? Or what are they doing?
No, they bought a video game creator, Activision Blizzard.
What? Wait, and we have to look into that?
Yeah, man.
I have no clue. What? What? Video games? What? Like, that's unfortunately still the reality, especially in the government, right? Because, well, let's be real here, a lot of older people are managing the government right now, and they are still on living in the 90s, 70s. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them. And reading like all those remarks on Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard reads very much like somebody who has absolutely no clue what's going on here, but they have to look into it, and they have kind of the feeling that Microsoft doing something is bad, so they try to throw themselves in front of it and slowing it at least down, even though it makes absolutely no sense. So, yeah, it's a bit weird. But we will see. After 90 days, we will finally get the final update. It's the final countdown. Oh, speaking of final, so you might still remember the Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time remake. That thing was announced 2 years ago, and one of the big selling points, or well, one of the big bullet points, was that this remake is being remade in India. Right? They had two development teams from Mumbai and Prune. Was it Prune? I think it was Prune. Basically working on this. And, well, they then showcased the game in 2020. And people saw the trailer and they were just like, what is this? Like, this looks like shit. And which is even crazier when you think about that this game has been gone gold. Like Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time remake has gone gold. They even uploaded it to the PlayStation Store, and it was waiting to be downloaded and be played by the masses. Like the remake was basically done last year. How do we know that? Well, because people who pre-ordered the game and used the pre-order codes kind of managed to get the full version of the game. And it was completely playable from the beginning to the end. So what happened? Well, yesterday, Ubisoft announced that they have now cancelled all the pre-orders of the game. And as you might remember last year, they took the game from the Indian studios and gave it to Ubisoft Montreal, the original creator of the game. right? Which has already enough to do with so many other games. But there have been rumors around that the whole game has been canned. And Ubisoft also confirmed that it has no other plans to remake any other Prince of Persia games in the future, which makes sense considering how much trouble it has been to remake just one of them, right? So what will now happen with the Prince of Persia remake? We don't know. Maybe it will just disappear. Like, they have now cancelled all the pre-orders. They made sure that everyone got their money back. And maybe this will just disappear into nowhere. Which, I will be honest, if that happens, man, Ubisoft, I don't know what to think about Ubisoft anymore. Like, I have no trust in any of the stuff they are doing anymore. Like Skull and Bones. Remember? Skull and Bones should have been out by now. At this point, we should be able to play Skull and Bones. Now they have postponed it again into March next year. And here's the thing. There are differences in delaying games. There is a huge difference in delaying a game by a month, a few weeks, or even like 3 months, or delaying it by half a year. Those are huge differences in development and what can be done and what has to be done to the game till then. So, when somebody like Ubisoft delays Skull and Bones multiple times over multiple years, because they basically rebooted the game multiple times, and then says, alright folks, this is what you have been waiting for, this is the official release date, we are locked in, let's go. Just to come forward 2 months later and go, yeah, about that, let's go. Remember Skull and Bones? How about next year at some point? How about that? I was like, what? What is going on there? And that seems to be the case for basically every Ubisoft studio. Like, from what we hear from inside Ubisoft, it's not very pretty there right now. Ubisoft has completely botched the whole sexual allegation which came forward with other studios 2 years ago. They tried to hide it. They tried to hide it under the rug, right, and pretend this never happened, and it isn't a problem for the studio. And the only thing they did was trying to hide those issues away, or at least so that the CEO, Yves Guillemot, don't have to see them anymore. But what that actually did to the developers is they left. Ubisoft has a huge problem with keeping their developers and finding new ones. Because we have now reached the point that, as I said before, the gaming industry is still pretty small. It's kind of crazy when you think like how big the gaming industry is from a money perspective, right? But when it comes to who knows who works with whom together, right? Like all those things, it's a pretty small exclusive club of people. But that means right now Ubisoft has reached a point that most people have already worked at Ubisoft at some point. They have all pretty middling to mediocre to bad memories about Ubisoft. And they don't want to work there anymore. So, Ubisoft has a problem. And this is, of course, not what they would do. But I think one of the first steps would have to be that they're acknowledging their problems and that they're actually trying to fix them instead of ignoring them away. Now, what we've seen in the last 2 years, that didn't happen. They don't show any interest in doing so, and so the issues will stay around. And it might cripple the company too much at some point. So, yeah. Now, let's have some positive news. Let's have some positive news. You know, we always have like the negatives ones and always be like, look at the gaming industry. Stupid gaming industry. Me. Let's have something positive. So, if you play League of Legends or Teamfight Tactics in the SEA or SEA region, which is Southeast Asia, then I have some very good news for you. Because starting January 6th, 2023, Riot will completely take over from Garena. And that is a huge moment to celebrate. Yep. And if you're like, wait, why? What's so special about it? Well, the answer is, if you don't know much about Southeast Asia and the region in particular with League of Legends games, or Riot games like League of Legends and TFT, Garena was basically the sole publisher in that region. They were managing everything. And they were kind of behaving as they own that game. And the community hated Garena. They were price gouging. Like, some of the skins were more expensive than in other regions. Customer support was completely abysmal. The servers were not great. Like, Garena is absolutely hated in Southeast Asia when it comes to League of Legends and TFT. Yep. Completely hated. Because Garena was treating League of Legends and TFT as just another product in their portfolio. Right? They just had it. It made money for them. They didn't care for anything else. Now, good news is that now apparently Riot has been preparing for a long time to completely take over there, have their own server infrastructure, have their own customer service there, and so on and so forth. Which takes quite a while to pull off. Like, people are always like, just put your own servers there and their own customer support. Like, just do it, man. This maybe takes like a month. Just do it. I was like, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Believe it or not, it's quite a bit of work which had to be done. And yeah, Riot Games has finally pulled it off. If you were playing in the Southeast Asia regions and you have a Garena account migration actually starts next week on November 18th. That is, let me check, a Friday. Yes. So that means you can take your Garena account with all your skins, all your champions, like all the stuff you have been doing, and just move it over to Riot Games. There will be a special site for it, and then you can do just that. By the way, the servers, which will be owned by Riot Games and all that, will go live on the 6th of January 2023. So you have to wait a little bit longer. But this is some good news. Like, as somebody like me who has been playing League of Legends for, over 10 years now, I constantly heard people just being like, Garena, do something right. I think Riot even had to step in multiple times over the years, if I still remember this right, to calm down Garena with some of the practices. But to work with Garena was apparently like a bitch. It's yeah. So glad that Riot Games is taking over. And I wish all the Garena players in Southeast Asia better times ahead with League of Legends and TFT. And yeah, that's something positive. I like some positive news. Next news. Oh, this is interesting. According to the South Korean financial news outlet MTN, internally, like not official, but internally, Sony has apparently partnered with NCSoft, the creators of Guild Wars, Lineage, and some other games, and they are now working on Project H. What is Project H? Well, supposedly it's a Horizon MMO. Yes, like in Horizon Forbidden West and Horizon New Dawn. So they apparently working on an MMO, and we'll see how that goes. But before you're getting too excited, this might be an MMO for mobile, but then again, a lot of MMOs are also coming out on mobile nowadays, so that it doesn't necessarily mean too much. Like, we have tons of MMOs who also are available on the mobile platform. So that makes sense. Especially when you are partnering with somebody like NCSoft, who is pretty big in Asia, then yeah. Nothing too surprising. Now again, those are just rumors. This is what we have basically seen from insider informations, and we have to see if this is becoming a reality or not. But it could be fun. I could definitely see Horizon being an MMO. Like, the changes you have to make to it work is not that crazy. Like, it's not a complete game, right? Like, it's relatively close to each other. Yup. All right. What else do we have? Oh yeah, good old Meta, aka Facebook, has been announced that they are laying off 11,000 employees. That is 13% of the company's total staff. And before you were being like, yeah, oh my god, they are losing money. No, they don't. That's kind of the issue here. As per usual, they have just not made enough money like they used to. This year alone, Meta has been making over 18 billion US dollars in revenue. And they were like, nope, that's not enough. We have to fire some people to make some extra money going to the shareholders. Yay! So, really sucks for all the people working at Meta. So for everyone who is affected. Oh boy. So, as you maybe know, the partnership between FIFA and EA ended. Yep. They completely ended. This was the last year where you would get a FIFA, I think it was FIFA 23, which we got this year. And that was the last one. Because EA just said, nah, man, we are not paying for the partnership / naming rights anymore. You're becoming too expensive. Now, with that said, we will still get an EA football game or soccer game, whatever you want to call it, next year. They still have like all the licenses with the clubs, with the players, with the names. The only thing they cannot use anymore is the name FIFA. Right? They are not allowed to do like the official FIFA stuff anymore because they have asked some crazy amount of money for that. And EA was just like, nah, not doing that, man. So a lot of people were like, okay, makes sense. What will happen next? What will FIFA do to push forward the brand? And man, do I have a news for you. Yeah. Let me just read the official announcement of the press release. Gaming and esports are some of the fastest growing opportunities for FIFA as it continues to expand into new digital spaces, platforms, and games that are already welcoming football fans to them. The new gaming integrations, all of which are designed with Web 3.0 and the future of digital engagement in mind, are playable around the tournament and each have a unique twist on the globe's biggest football tournament. Yes, the new FIFA games will all be on the blockchain. Huzzah! Oh, God. Am I surprised by this? No, it's the FIFA. They're so money hungry. Of course they're going with blockchain. Because they probably saw how much money they can make, in theory, if they don't. And they were just like, oh yeah, let's do this. Like, I don't give a shit what we have to do for that, but we would do that. Also, they have a new FIFA World Cup Qatar 2020 in the Upland Metaverse, which is in collaboration with Upland.me. Upland is a blockchain-based metaverse where players buy and sell virtual properties. So you can own a piece of FIFA in the metaverse. Holy shit. I'm so glad. Like, can I just say this? I'm actually really proud of you. No, not you. You, the gamer. I know I don't say that very often with the gaming industry and sometimes how we as a community, as the gamers, behave, right? But this time I'm actually kind of proud of you. Of all of you. Because I think this is the first time in many years where the gaming community rejected a new business model in their games. Like, companies tried so hard to make it happen. To like use blockchain, use NFTs and all the other bullshit, the metaverse and whatnot, and slam that into the faces of the gamers and try to make it happen. They tried so hard. And the good thing is, it didn't happen. And I'm actually really proud of that. I know we should have probably done the same thing with microtransactions, but c'est la vie. That train also left the station many, many years ago. So, but at least that really didn't really get a foothold in the gaming world. And it seems like some companies have to learn that the hard way. Right, Square Enix? Right. Yeah. One last news. So this is a rumor. It's nothing too big, but I still want to put it out there because I'm kind of looking forward to the game. Redfall might actually get a beta on Steam in the future. We don't know when and how and so on, but it seems like we are getting one. Why? Well, if you were getting into the EULA, then there is a beta trial and confidentiality agreement. And let me show you this. I have that thing actually open. And it looks like this. Right here. So this is the official EULA for Redfall. And normally they don't have this phrase in here. Normally this is not part of the games they normally put out there. And it seems like this could point to a beta of Redfall. Now with that said, keep in mind that Arcane has never done a beta before. With that said, they have also never done a co-op game before. Well, not like this, right? So there might actually be a beta coming up. And you know what? I would totally be up for it. I definitely want to see what this game has to offer. Because it could be pretty cool. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh yeah, Twitter is continuing their shenanigans. Right now, Twitter is now having 2 check marks because our genius Elon Musk is now offering that. Like you can see it here with Dance Gaming, which is verified, and now he is also verified. Does that make any sense? No, it does not. It's just, it looks so stupid. It looks so stupid. Like, oh well, I don't really want to dwell too much on it. Like, I leave the Twitter thing be. So, yeah. But with that said, folks, thank you so much for watching. We are done with the gaming news. I really do appreciate that for hanging out here. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like. And also, if you want to see more gaming news, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you ever want to check us out live, you will find the link in the video description, which is youtube.com/@ChaosMole. And we are streaming here from Monday to Friday, starting at 8 AM ET. That is 2 PM Central European time and 1 PM UK time. With that said, again, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and I hope I see you next time. Bye-bye.